Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. As I was looking around my library, I was like, hey, I show how to rig single hooks on slow jigs, but I haven't really explained anything. We'll do fast jigs later on, but I want to talk about single hook rigs on slow jigs because it's kind of what a lot of people are into right now. This is a Drepper 400 grams from Garage Nagi. Excellent jig. Swims well. Very easy to use. And if you use this with their rods, actually that's when you get the best out of this because their rods are a bit stiff. So the design of this jig actually kind of complements the rods. So this is from Wild, and this is brand new actually. It's just, what I like doing is to actually just get rid of that extra paint here, just so you can have a lot of the eye. And you should do that too, because it does affect the swimming action of the jig more than you think. Now, even if you actually kind of mess up the paint on the end right there, doesn't matter, just as long as this is free. All right. Tip number 1: clean out the eye. All right. Now, hook selection. One thing that a lot of people, even if you think you're an expert, one of the things that you should actually avoid are barbless hooks if you don't have everything perfect. All right. What I mean to say is that your leaders, your drag setting, rods, everything, if you have good housekeeping, go ahead, use this. It's great. They hook fish really fast. All right. Almost automatically. And I love them. Now, the problem with these hooks is that if you don't have good housekeeping, you will lose the fish. And guess what? You're not going to blame the rod. You're not going to blame yourself because you're born perfect. You're going to blame the hook. It's not the hook's fault. Trust me on this. All right. Now, if you have good housekeeping, okay, your drag management is correct, the loading of your rod while you're fighting the fish, you won't lose fish. Okay. Or probably you lose fewer with barbless hooks. If you don't want that kind of headache, if you're not too sure, use the ones with barbs. All right. Eyed hooks. They're great, easy to tie with. Really have no problem with them. It's just that most of the time I don't find the right size. And for this particular one, this is too big. So I'm not going to be using this. Otherwise, I'd be using this. This is a vertical heavy from, it's a 62 vertical heavy from Gamakatsu. Okay. The other one is a Kamaitachi barbless from Gamakatsu. Today, we're going to be using one of my favorites. It is the Owner Medium Jigger Chase. I love the shape. The hook is actually quite strong. It is a medium wire, which means, for me at least, I could use it for fast and slow jigging, and it works really well. So I have very good faith in this particular hook. Now, before you start, all right, here's a tip. Okay, so I've already done this with this hook. All right, I will demonstrate it with another one. I've started doing this, and quite honestly, I actually love it. It helps a lot. And if at all, it gives you the confidence that the threads are holding. Now, I'm just looking for one here. Okay, there's been a question. Circles. would they work? Well, actually, you know what? They do. Okay, I've tried doing this. First time I did it was 2006, and they work, but not as good as J hooks. All right. So if you are questioning whether these hooks would work, they do. They do. All right. Circle hooks do, especially the one that I showed you. It's inline. All right. It's inline. See, it doesn't have an offset to it. They work. The problem is, because of the hook eye, you actually have to give the fish some lead, and you don't set the hook. You just lead the fish. Okay, give the fish some slack, and then when the fish actually runs, that's when you tighten, and it works like that. But for fish that actually just snatch, you'll miss them. All right. But if it runs, you have a shot. Okay, now here's the tip. So I put the hook like this, and then I put spirals. Okay, and then go back like so, and then like that again. Okay, then what I do is put super glue just at this side right here. Like that. All right. Now, if you put too much, you can actually take tissue, dab a little bit off. You can use an accelerant, which I will do here just so it's fast. Okay. Now, this is kind of crazy, but you can unwind that. All right. I'm not going to waste thread here because it's perfectly usable. So I'm going to just back that up. Okay. It'll make sense in a bit. All right. Now, zoom in and I'll show you exactly what happened there. So it kind of left these ridges. Okay. And what those things do actually is it kind of roughed it up so that when you put your materials on, they don't slide around. And this is very critical when you're tying single hook rigs. Very critical. All right. The single hook rig or single hook, a single assist hook has the nasty job of being effective, doing the job of 4, 3, 2 hooks. Okay? There are rigs out there that have as much as 4 hooks in one assist cord or one assist hook assembly. Okay? We've seen that before. And guess what? Single hook has to do that job. Okay. One of the things that I don't really see a lot of people paying attention to is the orientation of the eye. Okay. For single hooks, you want the eye to be like that, not flat. Okay. And when you're tying it down, it is imperative that the hook eye or the solid ring is in the right orientation. Okay, you have to keep it like that. The ridges that we have here actually helps with that because it keeps everything from sliding around. So with this one, see, if you do it flat like that, once you put it on the jig, it won't ride correctly. And what you want is for that to ride correctly. This is pre-measured to the hook or to the jig, and we want it to be around there. Okay, so that's our measurement right there. Okay, now the cord that we're using is we bought this off of Nature Boys. This is the Marine Stealth. Okay, and it is number 25, 150 pounds. Why this? Just the right stiffness, just the right size, because you don't want the cord to be, you don't want the cord, the diameter of the cord to be too thick, maybe kind of thicker than your hook. You don't want that because it'll be too stiff and it won't make the assist hook move correctly. By move correctly, I mean that every time you pitch, it has to lay on the jig because that's the position that it catches the fish in. All right. You don't want the cord to be too thick and then it's too slow. All right. Or to create more drag and then it'll just hang like that. You want it to be as thin as possible, as thin as you can get away with. That way, it's also not visible to the fish. Okay, so we are, as you can see there, the tie-in point is straight in with the eye. Okay, and this thing is not moving around because of the ridges that we created. It does go up to this point, even if you just glue the back, because it runs off and it actually travels with the braid. All right, so I'm gonna bring you guys in closer so you see exactly how my wraps look like. Okay, because see, now this is not too tight because what I want to do is actually apply glue in a bit, so I'm not tying it too tight yet. Okay, now that I have one wrap, okay, I am going to put some glue. Okay, not too much. Right there. If it's too much, then tissue is your friend. Just touch that. It'll take the excess off. And now we start to wrap with a bit of pressure. Well, in my case, it's actually a lot of pressure. I have drag on here and try to do it as clean as possible. And as you can see, this is actually, before we used to put a knot there. We could still do that, but I prefer this because it's cleaner, less drag. If you want to put a shrink tube over this, free to do that, but I just leave it as is. Okay, there we go. Then wrap. That thing is not going anywhere. Now we're not done yet, okay? We need to put a coating of super glue on this so that it's protected, okay? Now, a rotary vise would be a good idea if you have one. Even if you're tying assist hooks and not flies, that's fine. Okay, you can see there that I put on just enough and it's kind of dripping. And that's a job for your bodkin, like so. Okay, spread it around. And you can apply the same thing when you're doing doubles, obviously. There's some key points that you should be very critical. The eye is one of them. The second point is that you should not put super glue past your tie-in points. Okay, so don't go past the eye right there. If you put super glue here, all right, that will break. There's fish. It will break the braid. So try not to put it there. That's why I just put glue on this side right here, okay, and then spread it with the bodkin. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to put a shrink tube on this, go ahead and do it. That's your prerogative. But as is, this is already as good as it gets. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside for now while we tie the other one. All right, I'm gonna show you a trick for the front hook. But first, how we measure the front hook. Okay, so you want the hook to be there. Okay, because we made the measurement of the other one kind of ends here. We take that, we fold it over, you have that. Okay, I am going to subtract a hook length of that, which is here. Okay, double that up, and then I am going to add just a bit for allowance. Because when we actually splice it, it takes that space up. Okay, we take the core out. Okay, so that's the core. Now, before we put our needle in, okay, what we need to do is actually put a core of mono. Okay, this is 15-pound test fluoro, and what you need is to thread it to the end, because what will happen is you're actually going to have two of these lines go through everything, make it stiff. That's essentially you're building a 30-pound core. So I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like after. Okay, so we have there, and then what we need to do is splice this like you would, like an ordinary what do you call this? So needle, go through, halfway point, you know. All right, so I'm gonna do this because the cord is so soft. I have to do it pegged on my table, which is lined with foam, and all right, so pokey pokey. Okay, I'll show you exactly how it looks like after. Kind of tricky, but once you've done it a few times, actually, it's not so difficult. It's just that feels so unwieldy. Okay. Almost there. Okay, now I'm pulling, so we're almost there. I don't know of anyone who does this except for me. So You've seen it here first, kids. All right, so you have that. Then just pull back. So if you see that there's still a little bit there, you need to pull on the long tag. Really cinch it down there. You want it to be as tight as possible. There we go. All right, so there we go. You have a core inside that, and it's stiffer than normal. All right, so once you cut this, which I will here, once you cut it, you don't see that there's a core inside, but it's there. Alrighty, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, again, it has to be straight. Okay, it has to be straight. You can't compromise on that. Okay, I don't do this often, but I'm gonna put the ridge here, or sorry, the line, so that it's just there. It's easier. All right, you can just put it directly, especially with the ridges. All right, natural position should be straight, and I'm just gonna spiral. Okay. Now, if it's not straight, since I put it loose, I could still adjust it. There we go. Okay, and then adjust the length. All the while, it should be straight there. Micro adjustments. There we go. Okay, you can still adjust it so that it lays straight. Okay, just like that. Okay, wrap back like so. Okay, and then we will do our first wrap. You can see there, straight. And then we do our super glue. Again, just the sides. You don't want my side first, so I can see if the glue is flowing. And okay. Okay. There we go. I try not to put the glue on top, just on the sides. And then I will do very close wraps. Very, very tight, close wraps. Then go back. Again, very, very close, tight wraps. You can see that it's actually squeezing the glue out. Now I can do my finishing wraps. Because this, spread the glue, because there is glue, spread it like so, then put more for the coat. This now you can put on top. Again, make sure it doesn't glue past your tie-in point. There's a little bit there, that's fine, just not a really long length, you know. Sometimes you screw up, but it's better if you don't. All right. That's it right there. Okay. Now what we could do is actually wait for this to cure. Okay, that's it. Beautiful. Okay, what you want is when you put this on your jig, it actually sits sits up like that. Okay, now you see that? Now you know this jig has its eye flat, which means that your eye should be flat as well if you want this hook to stand upright. So I tie it so that the hook or the solid ring is vertical, and then I twist half and it becomes flat, and it'll stay like that. Because if you put it flat, okay, if you put it flat in the first place and then there's a little bit of a twist, it's not going to lay flat anymore. But if it's vertical and you twist it and then you pull, okay, it stays more flat than when you're tying it like that. I don't know, it has something to do with the fibers. Okay, it just naturally wants to twist because of the braiding. So it's the same as this with this one. You see, it's straight, and then let me see if I can. Okay, so it's straight. I take that, I twist it half, and then pull, and then it stays flat. You know, so it's much better like that because the braid wants to naturally twist. So if you did it like that, it'll always be very consistent. That's why it's kind of strange maybe for you guys to actually say like, hey, but it's supposed to lay flat, right? So that's what we do, okay? Like that, twist it, and then just pull, and it'll stay just like that. All right, I'm gonna use accelerant just so it's finished fast. Okay, same with this other one. Don't have the time to wait for it to dry. It's gonna be white a little bit, but what I found is that if it gets all white, sometimes you could just rub it and then it's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do some notes on the finer points of this. Let us take a split ring here and install it so that we can talk about these things. All right. I forget which pliers I was using here. It wasn't the SOM. Now, Wael likes these big eyes. I have nothing against them. It's just that I like mine to be a bit smaller, which is fine. Okay, so we first put on the long one at the back. When actually, I'm gonna edit this, and I'm thinking it'll be 30 minutes plus when I'm done with it. Okay. All right, so without tweaking it, you can see that it's actually flat. All right. That's what you want. Now, there are people that like it go sideways and all that. The problem with that is that as soon as the fish bites, the hook points on the other side. So I like mine to actually go like this so that when the fish bites either side, the hook point is actually up. this is also the reason why I don't like using bigger hooks than a lot of people are switching to bigger hook sizes when they switch to single hooks, but I like mine to be just right. Okay, so as you can see, again, that hangs straight, and that is just enough so that these guys don't cross. So hooks are always in position. Okay, when this goes on, it goes like that. They're thin enough so that they're more dynamic. It moves up and down, out of the way. Either it's dropping or you are pulling, and these won't tangle, especially this one because it has a core. But you don't see it. Pretty cool trick. I hope you like that. I don't know if anyone else does that, but yeah, that's how I do it. So right there. Okay, now that is done and that looks good. All right, so that's it. I'm not gonna make this video longer than it should be. So if you have questions, just drop them in the comment section. If you learned something, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet and you want to learn more, subscribe to the channel. If you want your friends to learn with you and you're fishing as a group, share the video with your friends. Alrighty, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.